Being called one of the worst cases of a sexual predator on Long Island. A man posing as a rideshare driver and preying on women was sentenced today. News 12's crime reporter Krista McNally was in the courtroom with several victims and has the details. And Krista, obviously an extremely difficult day for these women in court.
That's right. Many of the victims in court were crying, some of them talking directly to serial sexual predator Raul Guaman. They were telling him he was nothing. He was less than a man. One dad even screaming in the courtroom, "I'll see you in hell." Guaman today sentenced to 25 years behind bars for sexually assaulting over a dozen women.
This is the absolute worst case I've ever worked on with a serial sexual predator, and this predator should not see the light of day.
Laura Ahern is a victim's advocate and describes 43-year-old Raul Guaman's actions as horrific. Guaman would pose as a rideshare driver, drug victims, sexually assault them, and record it on his cell phone, sometimes keeping his victims' IDs and cell phones as trophies for his crimes.
This is a predator who was hunting women in Suffolk County for nearly 5 years.
There were 13 victims in total who did not want to be identified on camera. 3 of the victims spoke in court, one of them talking directly to him, calling him the scraps of the earth. Another choked up, not even able to understand how he got into her home and sexually assaulted her in her own bed. And a third victim sobbing as she detailed how she didn't even know she was raped. And when she went home to her 5-year-old, she just had a gut feeling something was wrong before checking herself into the hospital.
These victims that came forward today, it was agonizing to hear them talk about the devastating impact that this sexual assault has had on them.
Many of the victims did not know what happened to them until detectives showed up at their homes with video of the horrific encounters. Guaman, according to the prosecution, was illegally in the United States from El Salvador. He was living in Bayshore at the time of these crimes, and he pled guilty to the 11-count indictment. The judge said in court, quote, "You are a predator, a disgusting predator."
This individual targeted women that were leaving restaurants and bars right here in Suffolk County.
Guaman will also have 20 years of supervised release after serving his 25-year sentence. For now, that's the latest from Riverhead.
All right, Krista, a really terrible story there. Shocking testimony, of course. Do we know if there were any more victims out there?
So we were told by the Crime Victim Center there were at least 20 victims, but they say some of them didn't have enough evidence to go to court. 13 that were cited in the court case do have permanent orders of protection at this time.